Welcome to Golden Nuggets, where truth and wisdom get married and bring forth enlightenment. Today, I want to speak to you about fear, and I want to take you on a journey and share with you what I have found and learned in my own life when dealing with and overcoming fear. I am Ezra, A.K.A. the voice of reason, over and out. Welcome to another edition of Golden Nuggets. And today we're going to be looking at overcoming fear, something that I believe affects all of us in some way, shape, or form. So let's get into this. So the first and most important thing is that we have to understand what fear is. And when we say fear, what that means is that people experience these really strong emotions of dread and anxiety and alarm and horror, fright, panic and distress and terror when we maybe have to do something new, when we have to face something that we know is going to be challenging, or whether we're coming up against someone and we know there's going to be resistance in maybe a decision we're making or something that we want to do. And it creates these strong feelings and emotions of fear. And that fear makes us want to withdraw. It makes us want to avoid. And sometimes it can create certain behaviors in us that are not warranted for the situation that is at hand. And so today we're going to look at how do we overcome fear? How do we overcome the anxiety? How do we overcome that situation that we know we need to address, but we're fearful of going forward? So I hope today you have your pen and your pad and you are taking notice of the things that we're going to be exploring. And the first thing that it's really important that we understand is of fear's synthetic power. Fear has a unique ability of making us believe in things that are not true. It has a way of planting things into your mind to keep you bound, to keep you locked, to keep you stuck. And so it's really important that we start to take stock and notice of the lies, of the seeds that are sown in our mind. Because fear has a unique ability of making us believe in something that isn't true. And that is what keeps us bound and stuck. That's what stops us from moving forward. Because in reality, fear can only survive by feasting on your imagination and on my imagination and on our assumptions. You see, we all possess a unique ability to imagine things, to bring things into existence, whether positive or negative. We all possess that ability. And fear knows that and uses that as its advantage because it will make you think the worst case scenario when you are imagining something that may happen, whether that is addressing it and having a courageous conversation with someone, or whether it is trying something new. It makes you believe in the worst case scenario that could happen. And you imagine that and you bring that to life in your mind. And then it works with your imagination and your assumptions. The things that you are predicting, the things that you are projecting. And so it's really important that you understand that the only place really that fear can exist is in your mind. And so we have to deal with this warfare that is going on in our mind. I always tell people the mind is the battlefield. There's no greater place that you can win or lose the majority of your wars because everything happens twice in life. First of all, in your mind, and then second, in reality. And so it's important that you begin to take stock of fear's synthetic power in your life. What is fear pumping you with? What is fear injecting you with? What virus has it put in your mind that you continuously think about the negative things and how it's going to go bad and doomsday thinking? Because our mind is like a garden, and in every garden there's something that will grow without your help and support, and that is weeds. And weeds are symbolic of negative thoughts, and fear likes to harvest negative thoughts. And so it's important that we, by with careful intention, are planting the beautiful flowers of joy, of hope, of peace, of positivity. And when we are doing that, and we are tending to the garden of our mind, and we are pruning and uprooting those weeds, fear can have no power in your life. So it's important that you begin to take stock and understand what is really going on here and where fear's power lies. Because fear is a notorious bully. Fear is going to always attack you and victimize you if you allow it to. And there's only one way that we can stand up to a bully in life, and that is to address it face on, head on, deal with it, overcome, face that fear. When it's telling you can't do it, show you can. When you want to be silent, speak up. Otherwise, fear will continuously punch you in the face. It will continuously punch me in the face, because that's what bullies do. And so we have to overcome it. And what fear does to torment us, it always deals with what if. What if you go for that job interview? What if you take that step to start up your own business? What if you leave that relationship that is, toxic and no good for you? What if you speak your mind? What if you show your vulnerabilities? All of these things, what if, future thinking, dwelling on what could be, looking at it from a future perspective, never allowing you to be in the moment. And so I want to encourage you today that stop allowing false evidence to appear real to you. And I want you to trust and believe in your potential. Because once you take that step to address fear and to deal with it, you will realize that it doesn't really have any power in your life. And I'm sure for many of you listening right now, that you have found that there's been things in the past that you were fearful of, but when you actually stood up to the fear, when you actually did it anyway, felt the fear and did it anyway, you realized it wasn't even as bad as you thought. And so you need to remember your past victories and use them to propel you forward in your current situation. Now, it's important that we all understand that fear is a universal experience. We all experience fear. We all have to deal with that. We all have to address and overcome it. And everyone has a different fear. It'll be a different situation and a different intensity. And the truth of the matter is that we will always have to deal with fear, because as long as you are growing, every new level you go to requires a new level of you. And there will be a fear that you need to overcome in every area of your life. So we need to get used to it. We need to understand the relationship with fear and use it as fuel rather than something that afflicts us. Because what it's telling you is that you are growing. Every time you push forward and you address that fear, it shows that you are growing. The only way that you will not have any fear in your life is if you remain stagnant. And so what we have to do is overcome fear and not allow it to rob us. Because fear will rob you of your peace if you allow it to. It will rob you of your relationships. It will rob you of your goals. It will rob you of your vision. It will rob you of your self-respect. And so don't allow fear to keep you bound. Because just like this picture shows, that's what fear wants to make every situation seem like to you. And if you're someone who suffers with heights, you understand what I mean by this. Because that was something that I used to be fearful of. And so fear really makes us feel like we're going to fail or we're going to fall. And that keeps us bound. It keeps us stuck. It keeps us locked in the same position. And we become like the turtle that stays in the shell. And, you know, for that turtle and for us in certain parts of our life and in certain situations, it keeps you safe and secure. But in order for that turtle and in order for you or me to make any progress, we have to put our head out. We have to deal with the fear factor. We have to move forward. We have to take that leap of faith. And so I encourage you today, with whatever it is that has been holding you captive and been holding you bound, step forward today. Say no more. This is your moment. The time is now. Don't let it be one day. Let it be day one of your transition. Because if we don't move forward, all we are doing is staying in our comfort zone. And just like that cat that likes to be comfortable, likes to be cozy, likes things to be, you know, safe and secure. That's great for moments, but that's not the way we can live our life. And if we stay in the comfort zone, we don't grow. We don't grow. And I know that you have great ideas. I know that there is passions inside of you. I know there's dreams that you want to fulfill. And all of those things lie at the end of your comfort zone. So remember that fear is not real. It's not real. It only exists in our heads. It's only the stories that you tell yourself. It's only the thoughts that you ruminate on that become life to you, because you are manifesting it by the energy of your thoughts, because thoughts create things. So make a choice to change the story, to begin to focus on and declare the good, the powerful, the magnificent, the wonderful things that you can do, that you shall do as you face everything and rise. Because fear has two meanings. You can fret everything and run, or you can choose to face everything and rise. And I hope that today you make that choice to do the latter, because it's something that we all must do. Now, I want to speak briefly about perfectionism, because what many people don't realize, that perfectionism has its roots in fear. Because people who are perfectionists have a fear and have a worry and an anxiety of being wrong, of being judged. And so they go overboard to make sure that everything is perfect. They obsess about it, not because they're passionate about things, although there may be passion that's there, but it's more because there is a foundation of fear. I may not be good enough. People may look at me a certain way. And so it's really important that we understand that if you are someone who suffers with perfectionism, you need to recognize and understand that behind that and the part of the foundation of that is fear. And when perfectionism is the driver, shame is always riding shotgun. And shame is the things that we hold and believe about ourselves. When we say we are a failure, or we say we are not capable, it's the things that you put and hold about yourself. And so if you make a mistake, then you feel like a failure. And that's what shame does. And that's why people want to be perfect and make sure everything is correct. And so fear is always riding shotgun, and fear is in the back seat. What if? What's going to happen? What will people think about you? Continuously working in conjunction with your inner critic to keep you bound. And so perfectionists in their subconscious mind are often concerned about what people will think. And so I want to encourage you. Yes, have a spirit of excellence. Yes, do things to the best of your ability, but don't be bound by perfectionism. Good is good enough. And so ensure that you check yourself and be mindful of this trap, because perfectionism creates a downward spiral. And so the key thing that you have to remember is that when fear comes, we have to think positive, because the power of your thoughts create chemical reactions in your body. Because when we say emotions, emotions are really energy plus motion. And so the energy that we create by our thoughts creates a transmutation of energy into our bodies. And when we are thinking positive, it helps us to relax and feel good and be energized. But when we are thinking negatively and we're being fear focused, it creates tenseness, stiffness, rigidness, and inflexibility. And so faith is needed. Now, when I'm saying faith, I mean focused awareness in trusting harmony. We have to have faith as we go forwards, to believe in your potential, believe in the possibility that you can do it. Believe that you are good enough. Believe that you do have the skills and the resources. Believe that you are resilient. Believe that you can do it. Believe that it is your destiny to fulfill. Instead of allowing fear to rule you, which makes you withdraw, which makes you draw back, which makes you remain silent, which makes you stop doing what you were created and born to do. So we have to believe that it will work out in spite of what the physical evidence shows, in spite of what your present reality is. Because in order for you to get to the next level, you have to have vision and focus to see past what's going on for you right now. And the thing is, we do this all the time. If someone, wants to make a change, in their life, whether it's weight, whether it's financial, whether it's relationships, the present reality is telling you one thing. But the vision that you have is drawing and pushing you forward to that thing that you want to become. And it's only by focusing on the positive, on what can be and what will be, is it that we can make that transition. So I want to encourage you today, think positive about yourself, because self-care comes down to three simple things: how we think about ourselves, how we talk about ourselves, and the way in which we treat ourselves. So do those positive things today and feed your future rather than feasting on fear. And believe in yourself. Believe in your ability. Believe in your character. Believe in your values. Believe in all that you can do. Because when you have that, when you hold on to that, and when that guides and governs you, nothing can stop you. No setback, no failure, no mistake, nothing can stop you. Even if you fall down 7 times, get up 8 times. The only time we ever lose is when we give up. So when you fall, as long as you can look up, you can get up. Failure does not mean final. Believe in yourself, trust in the process, and you will see how great you truly are. How great you truly are. So my question to you today is, what do you have to face in your life today? What is it that is holding you bound? What is it that you need to let go of? What is it that you need to start doing today? Where is it that you need to take that step of faith? And what is it that is symbolic of that tiger that is bringing fear to you? Is it that manager that you need to have a conversation about regarding something they've done that has offended you? Is it a courageous conversation that you need to have with a colleague or someone that you manage? Is it a problem that you need to address that you know may be painful, but you know it needs to be done? Is it taking a step forward in terms of going and pursuing your dreams and your goals in whatever way that is? What is it that you need to address today? Own it and choose to face it and rise today. Because the only way that we can grow through fear is by courage. And today it's about taking that leap of faith and walking in the courage, that strength, that passion, and knowing your why. Because your why is what will drive you forward. Your why is what will make you override the fear, because it's important to you, because it's something that you know you need to do. You see, courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is doing something in spite of the fear. Because fear is a reaction, courage is a choice. And I want to encourage you today, move forward, take that step, do what you need to do, face your fears, overcome the problems that are holding you bound. Slay your lion and your tiger today. Because this is your moment. You will never get back this time. Time is the one currency that we can never get back when we lose it. And when you have invested enough time in procrastinating, in staying in your comfort zone and holding on to fear, today is the day that you face your fear with courage. And so what I want to do now is share with you my journey and victory.
I want to share with you my test and testimony and explain how I got to this position that you can see. I took my family away to Turkey in August 2019. And while we were there, my wife said that she wanted to go skydiving, to my horror. I knew that it was something on her bucket list of things to do. The only problem was that I had a great fear of heights. And it was in that moment, while intruding thoughts were rushing through my mind, that I knew that I had to make a decision to no longer be a victim of fear. Why, you may ask? Because something more important than the fear was pushing me forwards. And even though I was still experiencing fear, I chose to feel the fear and do it anyway. So as we had to take a 10-minute drive up the cliff to get to the spot where we would eventually jump off, I kid you not, I was praying all the way up the cliff as I was looking down at the massive drop that I was about to do. And when we got to the top of the mountain, we were shown the edge of the cliff that we had to run down before we jumped off the edge of the cliff. And it was in that moment that something inside said, hell no. But it was too late now. I had gone too far and I wasn't going to retreat back. And so I had to remind myself and dig deep and tell myself that fear is a reaction, but courage is a response. And so I dug deep. And when it came to my turn, I ran down the cliff and I jumped. And as soon as I did it, I knew something had changed in me forever. I realized that whatever I put my mind to, I can achieve. Even in overcoming my fear of heights that had ruled me all of my life up until that point. And being up there in the heavens, was such a liberating, peaceful, and humbling experience. I have never felt so peaceful and so close to nature as I did in that moment. And do you know what was the weirdest thing about that whole situation? Was as we started to descend, when we were preparing to land, I realized that the height that once terrorized me now seemed normal to me. In other words, my resilience and my mindset had been upgraded instantly by this event, never to be the same again. And it is for this reason why overcoming fear is so important, because it takes you to the next level. So I want to encourage you and tell you, whatever it is that you have been fearing, it's time to take that leap. Only then can you be free.
And so I want to encourage you today. Choose your battle that you want to overcome. Choose the area that you want to be victorious in today and overcome your fear. Do not allow fear to keep you locked up and trapped. It did so for me for many years, until that moment that I took that leap. I jumped off that cliff and I have never gone back. And I want to encourage you that it's time to break free. This is your prison break, and you are breaking free from the prison of fear that has kept you bound and trapped. Declare to yourself and make a promise and say no more. This is your moment and this is your time, and that time is now. So I hope you found this useful, and I want to encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out more videos that would inspire you and motivate you, just like this video has done. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it gave you motivation to face everything and rise. Let me know below by leaving a message and a comment. And share this video with your friends and your loved ones who you know need to hear this message. And check out my channel for many other videos dedicated to supporting and empowering you, including those on your right. And remember to subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell, because this is me calling you for our next one-to-one. So as always, stay blessed, remain grateful, and manifest your greatness.